Hey guys, thank you for joining me today. My name is Olivia Odero and I am a licensed professional counselor. And today I want to talk about how to thrive in dark environments. So I'll start off with a story which you may be very familiar with. It's a story about a young man. So tonight, more than any other night, he wondered about his life. Why did they do this to me? Will I ever see my father? What if things never change? Is this my destiny? It had been months since his life had drastically changed. Day in and day out, he not only worked hard physically, but mentally to fit into the new norm of his life. A life he had never dreamt of, let alone desired, had now become his daily plot. It was distressing, depressing, and now draining with the daily advances of Potiphar's wife. Probably I should just give in to her demands. Probably that will make my life easier. Probably she'll free me. Gosh, who am I kidding? I should just give up. Things will never change. Joseph curled up tightly on the cold floor, trying to hold back hot, stinging tears. Thoughts, emotions plagued his being. God, why? Where are you? He swallowed hard and sighed heavily, trying to center his thoughts. With much effort to refocus, he finally drifted off to a restless night. Somehow, some way, he felt strengthened to face the next day. So, what you've just heard is a snippet from a story of a young man called Joseph who experienced a lot of unwelcome changes in his life. The story can be found in Genesis 39. You'll notice that I've used my imagination in order to bring out certain aspects of his life to pass a point across. So, how does this apply to us? How does the story of Joseph apply to us today? Well, many in this COVID-19 season have been stripped off of familiar and normal things and have been plunged into unwelcome and uncontrollable circumstances. And to add to that, our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts, and even our expectations of God have just made the picture very bleak where we ask, God, where are you? Why are we not seeing any change in these circumstances? We're then left feeling helpless, hopeless, and trying our best to survive every day. And then to feel better, society has given us so many options of things to make us feel quickly relieved. And this can be instant pleasure, it can be media, it can be food. But what should we do? Should we give up into these hopeless and helpless feelings and thoughts? Or do we give up into the temptations that the society is daily offering to us so that we instantly feel better and not have to face the daily reality that life sucks? Life is not the same. Or do we remain steadfast and firm in our convictions of who God is, despite things not changing for the better? So, this is what I want to address today. Because the first two options seem very easy and available. I mean, it is easy to give up because things, we are facing the reality where things do not seem okay. Things are hopeless. Things are, we feel helpless in these situations. And every day we hear news of how it's all getting worse. And then, secondly, it is easy to give in to the temptations that the society is offering to us because it is readily available. I mean, just go and watch something and feel better. But of course, it's temporary. Or just go and eat and feel better, eat some ice cream and feel better. But are these things are these things giving us the results that we want? Because after we go through the emotions, we go through the temporary reliefs, our life still remain the same. We still have the stagnant life. We still have a life that is not effective, a life that is distracted because we are jumping from one thing to another, trying to feel better, trying to make a reality, that is outside of the reality we are in, because we just want to feel okay. But the result is sometimes not what we want. A stagnant life, a life of doubt, because we are questioning, God, if my circumstances are not changing, then where are you? Are you for real? Like, do you actually move in people's lives the way I've read in the Bible? Where are you? I can't see you. I can't feel you. I can't hear you. What is going on? So if we remain with these two options, the life we will have does not seem to be a life that we want. Most people want a life where they're thriving, where no matter the circumstance, they're still okay. Not necessarily okay that you're not crying, but they have they're still able to move forward and make the best out of life. And this is the kind of life we all want. This is the third option. So that means, how do we get to a place where we can remain steadfast and maintain our beliefs of who God is, despite the dark environment, despite all these things coming towards us? How do we still maintain this kind of mindset? Because Joseph did it. I've just told you his story, where, it's just an imagination of what could have been going on in his mind. But still, the Bible shows us that he was prosperous, that no matter what they put in his hand, he was able to do excellently. He had been sold into slavery. He never knew if he would ever see his parents. He never knew if he'd ever see his brothers. He had all these things going on within him, emotions. Why did they sell me? Why would they do this? Will I ever see them again? But despite all of that, there was something that must have been going on in his mind, because we are told that this man was prosperous. This man, like, he kept on being promoted because of what he brought to the table. Despite his circumstances, he did not give up. He did not give in, but rather he remained steadfast, and he remained in a place where he could thrive. So this is the kind of mindset which I'm curious. How did Joseph do it? What is it that kept him going? What is it that was able to help him bypass his emotions, his thoughts, and his feelings? Because he was as human as each and every one of us is. He was a young boy, 17 years old, sold into slavery in one of the darkest situations, and then constantly, daily, he's being tempted by this woman to just come and lay with me, make life easier for yourself. But he remained steadfast. He was able to say no to temptation, and he was still able to maintain his standards, and he was still able to thrive. So what kind of mindset was Joseph operating from? And this is, where I'm trying to, what I'm trying to figure out. And I would love for you guys to join me too. So, um, yeah, because the reason this is important to figure out is because if we can figure it out, then that means we can thrive in any situation that we are put into. Any dark situation. Because if you can look here beside me, there's a plant. Most of the time we've learned that plants thrive where the sun is, but there are plants that can also thrive where there is darkness. Like, it doesn't need sunlight. Those are very interesting plants. They say you can put it in the house because they can still thrive. Now the question is, how can we be those kind of plants that not only thrive in the sun, when everything is good, when God is moving, when we know that the hand of God is changing situations, we're seeing amazing things happening, doors are opening, things are happening in our lives. How do we thrive now in the darkness where we are looking, but we can't see God's hand? Where in Psalm 23, they say, even in the valley of the shadow of darkness. How do we thrive in this valley of shadow of darkness? Because as plants, there are times where we'll be in the sun, and then there are times where we'll be in the darkness. So this is the investigation that I'll be going into in the next couple of days. So I hope you can join me, because this will be exciting, because once we figure this out, then we've cracked the code of how to thrive no matter what circumstance or environment we have been put into. So I hope this is helpful. Let me read some of the comments before I log off. Yes. And some of our viewers are saying that this is right. And if we can figure out the kind of mindset that will help us thrive in any situation, guys, I'm telling you, like, we have it. It's gold. Like, no matter where we are put, we can do it. We can thrive, not just survive, thrive. Imagine that. Prosperous in everything that our hands have, that our hands are, that whatever our hands are laid upon, whatever we lay our hands upon, we thrive. So join me next time, where we'll now look into Joseph's life and figure out, how did he get this mindset? How was he able to thrive despite the circumstances he was in? Thank you so much for joining, and have a great evening. Bye.